Long ago, in a small and peaceful village where life moved slowly and simply, there lived two frogs who stayed together like true brothers. Although their appearances were completely different, their friendship was incredibly strong. One frog was big, chubby, and rather slow, while the other was small, thin, yet quick and agile. These differences never pushed them apart. Instead, they made their bond even more special. Every day, the two frogs hopped around the village together, exploring every path, every patch of grass, and every familiar corner. They never needed a specific destination, because to them, simply being together was enough to turn any journey into an exciting adventure. Their laughter and joy echoed through the quiet countryside. On a warm afternoon, as gentle sunlight spread across the land, the two frogs continued their usual stroll. It was in this seemingly peaceful moment that an unexpected event occurred, marking the beginning of the greatest challenge of their lives. While happily hopping around the village, the two frogs suddenly noticed a large bucket that a farmer had left by the side of the road. The bucket stood silently under the afternoon sun, towering far above their small bodies, looking both strange and mysterious. Their natural curiosity awakened, and they moved closer, trying to see what was inside. However, the bucket's rim was too high, and no matter how hard they stretched, they could not see the bottom. "Maybe there's cool water inside," guessed the bigger frog excitedly. The smaller frog nodded in agreement, thinking it might be an interesting place to explore. Without thinking too much about the consequences, they decided to jump into the bucket to satisfy their curiosity. The moment they landed, they were shocked to discover that the bucket did not contain water as they had imagined, but was filled with thick, cold, white milk. Instinctively, they began swimming non-stop to keep their heads above the surface. Once they calmed down, the two frogs started searching for a way out. They tried jumping up and clinging to the sides of the bucket, but the smooth surface caused every attempt to fail. Each time they leaped, their legs slipped and they fell back into the milk. As time passed, worry gradually replaced their initial excitement. The bucket was no longer a fun adventure, but had become a dangerous trap. As the sunlight slowly faded, the two frogs continued swimming, hoping to find an escape. However, exhaustion began to creep into every movement. They slowly realized that if they stopped swimming, they would sink to the bottom. But if they kept going, their strength would eventually run out. It was at that moment that the true test of courage and willpower truly began. Time passed slowly inside the cold bucket. The two frogs kept swimming in the sea of white milk, but their energy was no longer what it once was. Their kicks grew heavier, their breathing more rapid. The larger frog, burdened by his heavy body, began to feel exhausted first. Each passing moment seemed to drain the last bit of strength from him. At last, the big frog spoke in despair. "We've been swimming for too long. There's no way out. The bucket is too high and too slippery. No matter how hard we try, we'll still end up drowning." His voice trembled, not only from exhaustion, but from the fear rising in his heart. To him, all hope seemed completely lost. Hearing these words, the smaller frog continued to keep a steady rhythm, even though his body was also aching. He looked at his friend and replied firmly, "No, we can't stop. We've overcome hard times before, and we can do it again. If we keep swimming, maybe someone will help us, or we'll find a way ourselves." In the smaller frog's eyes still flickered a fragile yet persistent hope. However, as minutes turned into hours, the bigger frog's hope faded away. His body felt unbearably heavy, his legs trembling, and every effort seemed meaningless. "It's pointless," he whispered. "The harder we try, the more tired we become." In his weakest moment, the big frog gave up. He stopped swimming and let his body slowly sink into the cold milk below. The smaller frog froze in shock and pain as he watched his friend disappear into the white milk. His heart tightened with loss, yet his legs kept moving. Between grief and fear, the smaller frog understood that if he gave up too, everything would end. From that very moment, the true battle of willpower and perseverance truly began. The pain of losing his best friend shattered the smaller frog's heart. But amid loneliness and fear, he refused to stop. Every kick of his legs was no longer just to keep himself alive, but a silent promise to his fallen friend. "I won't let your sacrifice be in vain," he whispered, his voice trembling with determination. Memories of their days hopping around the village together filled his mind, their laughter echoing across green fields. Though his body was completely worn out, the smaller frog continued swimming, steady and unceasing. As time passed, night fell over the bucket, leaving only silence and the faint sound of water moving. Suddenly, he felt something strange beneath his feet. The milk, once thin and liquid, was becoming thicker. His constant kicking had stirred it, slowly turning it into butter. Realizing this rare opportunity, the smaller frog felt a surge of strength. He swam faster and harder, pouring every last bit of energy into each movement. Gradually, a solid mass of butter formed, strong enough for him to stand on and gather momentum. With all his remaining strength, the smaller frog leaped high and jumped out of the bucket. Moonlight shone on his tiny body as he fell to the ground, finally free. Escaping the deadly bucket, the smaller frog collapsed in exhaustion, tears streaming down his face from joy mixed with pain. He had survived, but the price was the loss of his closest friend. Even so, deep in his heart, he understood that perseverance and faith were what had kept him alive, and their story would forever stand as proof of the power of never giving up. After leaving the bucket, the smaller frog quietly returned to the familiar forest. The sorrow of losing his friend still lingered in his heart, but over time, he learned to accept it and move forward. Though painful memories sometimes returned, he understood that life does not end with loss, and new paths still lay ahead. A year later, the smaller frog found a mate and began building a warm little family. In their home, the laughter of frog children echoed every day, bringing him comfort and renewed hope. To honor his lost friend, he named each of his children after the big frog, ensuring that the memory of their friendship would live on in the present. Every night, as darkness fell and the forest grew quiet, the smaller frog gathered his children and told them the story of their brave uncle. It was not just a sad tale, but a profound lesson about perseverance, faith, and sacrifice. He taught them that life can be harsh, and sometimes giving up seems like the easiest choice. But in those difficult moments, if people or frogs keep trying, hope will always exist. Even if the outcome is not always what we wish for, continuing to try allows us to discover the true strength within ourselves. And that is the most precious legacy this story leaves behind.